Well, we are here today on another episode of Atypical. We have a special guest,
Suprememxsterjay.
Suprememxsterjay. It's so good to have you on the show, man. Thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you, man. So first and foremost, man, how does it feel to be back in Atlanta?
Feels good. It's been 2 years since I've been living in Denver.
Okay.
It was great to see friends again, see my dad, see family and everything. Go back through some of my old stomping grounds. A lot's changed. I see a lot of new businesses and a lot of new traffic.
I feel it.
But yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
So a lot of changes, but essentially, it's still a good thing.
It's still a good thing.
I respect it, man. I respect it. So here on Atypical, we talk a lot about mental health, ways to destigmatize things like that, and just get different perspectives from different people. You, Suprememxsterjay, is somebody who I definitely respect your opinion, and I think we can all learn a lot from you. So with that said, man, let's just kind of get into it. So let's start at the beginning, Jay, or Supreme Master. So the beginning. I'm sure you had some struggles, some things that you kind of had to deal with as far as your music and everything like that. Talk a little bit about the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So what got me into doing music is I experienced the death of my mom that really affected me and took a toll on my mental health because I had never dealt with loss before and didn't know how to grieve about it. I stayed focused on work and trying to distract myself and things like that. And then I was listening to music, and there's an artist in particular who was able to capture those feelings that I was feeling, and it resonated with me. I was able to relate to it in such a deep, meaningful way, and it motivated me to start writing poetry and things like that. And then that turned into wanting to create music and wanting to have that as an outlet. And so I took it from just writing the poetry to just putting it into song. And when I started creating music and expressing my feelings and getting that out there in a way I hadn't done before, it really did something for me. It was very cathartic. It helped me. And from there, I just gained a love for creating art and putting it out there, whether it was through music or writing scripts and bringing other people along the journey to bring it to life and things like that. And it's been a great journey and great experience so far.
Absolutely, man. So it sounds like you had a pretty rough, I wouldn't say childhood necessarily, but a pretty traumatic experience, and that kind of put you onto the music as far as kind of processing and coping with things.
Absolutely, yes.
Gotcha, man, gotcha.
And yeah, because my mom was a very special person to me, and I did go through a tumultuous childhood, to say the least. But it was because of her and because my dad that decided to take me in and give me a home and give me a better way of life. And so, when she passed, it was definitely like a rock bottom for me at that point in time. So,
Gotcha.
yeah.
So it sounds like a huge obstacle. With that said, man, you kind of use music as a way to process and cope. What else kind of inspired you and kind of got you over that hump to kind of get you to, where you are today?
I would say, honestly, just having good people around me, having good friends around me, people who actually care about me, who will listen to me and listen to my story, listen to my past, ask me if I'm okay,
Right.
And genuinely have that concern for me, as well as you know, staying focused, whether it's working out, whether it's work or what have you, and just trying to not let those negative thoughts consume you, and trying to be positive and think positively, because at the end of the day, if you allow those negative thoughts, those feelings to overcome you, you will become that, and it'll only get worse.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I feel like our thoughts have such a powerful place in the way that we actually move and behave, and things we do.
Absolutely.
So what do you do to challenge that negative thoughts or just prevent it from like taking over or going into like that, going monster mode or whatever? What do you kind of do?
Right. So I try to find things that I enjoy doing, that I love doing, and spend um, time doing those things. Even if I don't want to do it, if you push yourself and just try to motivate yourself to do those things that you enjoy, that you love, um, find something that you're passionate about. Put limits on yourself and say, you know what, maybe you're so depressed today that you don't even want to get up to do basic hygiene. But if you say, you know what, today, Monday, I'm going to get up, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how hard it is. I'm going to take that shower. I'm going to do what I need to do. And then you just make small like goals for yourself each day. You can get yourself out of that depression. And as
Oh,
far as negative thoughts, if you just write it down, or go into the bathroom or somewhere and just say out loud, I'm great, I'm amazing, I am loved, I have great friends, I have great family, things like that. And if you just reassure yourself of those positive affirmations, it will change your it will change your life. Because there's a saying, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you can change the way we think, we can change the way we view the world and how we feel in the world that we
absolutely.
live in.
Absolutely. Very well said. And our perception has so much to do with the way, with what we take in and how we perceive it. So
Absolutely.
if we can fix our perception, we can fix a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So definitely, Jay, very well said, man. So my next kind of thing I wanted to get into was, we kind of talked about the beginning, some struggles, some motivational things. So where are we now? Where would you kind of say you are now as far as like your music?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Talk about like the here and now.
Yeah. Right now, I'm still on this journey of self healing, and trying to overcome a lot of those negative mental health obstacles. But what I do with the music is I want to bring the audience on the journey with me, because I'm not perfect, and I'm not better than anybody else. I'm just like anyone else, trying to make it through this world that we live in, coping with a lot of the issues that we've been plagued with. So, what I do through the music is I'm just very raw, real, and emotional. And if someone can relate to that, then I hope that they can come along the journey with me as I progress album through album. As we learn things right along the way, we get our emotions out, we put it all out there, bear it to the world. And then what? Do we just keep doing that? Do we just say, okay, yeah, this is just me? No, life is about progression. And I believe that through this journey of music, whether it's meeting other artists or meeting other people, when I go perform or things like that, and I get to hear their stories and hear what helps them, and what changes them, and challenge myself, every day to be better. To, okay, what can I write about today? What experiences did I go through this week that I can display or convey through my music, and so forth. And maybe it's finding faith in a higher power or something like that, that helps you get through those things as well. And so that's my goal with the music. It's still a journey for me, but I'm hoping one day I will be on the other side of that.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you mentioned like self healing, kind of going through that. You have to heal to, I guess, get to that next level
Right.
of I don't know, how would you describe it? Like, what's the whole purpose of healing? Like, we
Right.
talk about it a lot. We hear a lot about it in mental health.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of it?
So the purpose of healing is because if you don't heal, or be able to get over those past transgressions or whatever they may be, then you'll just have these wounds and scars that just continue to grow deeper and deeper, to a point where you're just completely hopeless, and you've lost hope. And unfortunately, without hope, man dies. And so we have to find ways that we can maintain our hope in this world, and we always have to fight to look at the world in a positive way, no matter how much negative stuff comes our way. So now, when we talk about healing, well, what is healing? Healing is not necessarily forgetting about those traumas and things that have affected you, but how can I look at it in a positive way for my life to move forward, right? And that's part of the healing process. Maybe it's forgiving someone who has hurt you so much that it's plaguing you every day. Well, forgiveness will set you free because it's not for that person. You're not forgiving them for what they've done, but for yourself to be free from those feelings of
Absolutely.
animosity and things like that, and being able to move forward. Um, so yeah, I think that it's not an overnight process, but it's one that you have to be committed to every day if you want to see true change. And
Absolutely,
also
man.
seek help, because you can't do it alone, and there are people out there for you. And if you seek the right type of professional help, I definitely advocate for that as well.
Absolutely, man.
So
Absolutely. Okay. And just to kind of get back to your point, so if you don't heal from things that happened in the past, generational traumas or anything like that, they become cyclical and they might happen over and over again, kind of thing.
absolutely right,
Absolutely, man.
and we want to stop the cycle of
Got
hurt
to, right?
and mental. Yeah,
We're moving forward. We're not trying to keep going
exactly.
backwards and in circles. We're moving forward. That's the whole thing about life, right?
Amen. Yep.
Okay, okay. So Supreme, you mind if I call you Supreme just for the
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
everybody calling Supreme for sure.
Yeah. So Supreme, let's talk a little bit about your projected kind of future as far as music, career, anything like that. So, what do you see for yourself? Do you see yourself performing in front of millions, thousands? Like, what do you want for yourself as far as that kind of goes?
um, in the beginning when I started doing music, I was envisioning this grand life of having millions of people cheering my name and listening to my music and everything. It started off like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but as time went on, I realized what's more important is being able to connect with at least even just one person, even if it's through song. And hopefully, I can have an impact on somebody else's life, and maybe even put that seed in their mind for them to consider, um, making a change. Maybe they listen to my music and they hear some of the negativity in it. And it's like, you know what, he's crying out, he's this, I don't want to be like that. And then you hear the next line where I'm like, have faith, have faith in God, don't be hopeless, don't be like this. And I think, to me, I would rather have a bigger impact and a message, even if it's just one soul or 100. So no, I don't, at this point in my life, don't necessarily see me being up on the grand stage. But what I do hope is that I can capture and captivate enough of an audience that it does drive an impact on someone in the world. And I think that's my purpose, is to keep working hard to try to change lives, you know, even if it's just one at a time.
And we love it, man. We love it because there's a different way to impact people's lives.
Right.
Um, me personally, I'll sit down and talk to someone one on one. Music touches a lot of people's hearts, and I think it can validate a lot of emotions, like especially you being an artist who's raw and real with your stuff. So somebody could go home and like, man, I hate this, or I feel this way about this, and then listen to something that you put out there, have their emotions validated, but still receive some form of like hope,
Right.
like a positive message.
Right.
So I think that's amazing, man.
Thank you.
I commend you for it. I salute you. I could not do it, but different strokes for different folks, right?
Absolutely.
Um, so Supreme, tell us a little bit about this upcoming album that you got going on. I don't want to spill too much details, but I heard you got some projects kind of going on. So tell us a little bit about what's going on lately.
Absolutely. So I just finished up the sequel to Afflicted Soul. This one's called Afflicted Soul Part 2. And the goal for this second project is to kind of dive deeper into some of those concepts I touched on in Afflicted Soul Part 1. And basically, what I want to showcase is someone who struggles with substance abuse, whether it be alcohol or hardcore drugs or anything like that, and how that can alter a person's personality and persona, and how things like that can affect relationships, friendships, family, um, things of that nature, and to show that brokenness, and to show that you may have resentment in your heart, you may have anger in your heart, that And so what I did was I took all of those emotions and placed it forefront on this album. But not only did I do that, I went through several phases throughout the project,
Sure.
where I went through, you know, it seems fun on the surface to turn up and have fun and have the luxurious fast life and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the downfall that comes with that. That you want to be materialistic or you want to be vague and fake, and how that it's these are temporary pleasures, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not long lasting. The long lasting pleasure is what we have in say God and faith, and I will preach that because I am a believer, and so but it's hard to even have faith when you're struggling, but now you're mired in a world and surrounded by filth, and it's kind of like, how do you find your way out when you feel like you're so far from God that God won't even look at you anymore?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to basically put those feelings there and say that I don't care where you come from, where you've been, what you've done. I don't care what you've done. you know God still loves you, and he's still there for you, and at the end of the day it's up to us to make the choice to change our lives. And I just basically wanted to take this album, show it in a very raw form, and at the end of it, once we've gone through this craziness, at the end we can worship and praise God together at the end, and thank him for giving us another day, um, you know, to maybe reach one more person.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So last thing, Supreme. Um, Message. Do you have any messages for people who maybe struggle with anything like depression, anxiety? I know we talked a little bit about it in the beginning of the segment.
Yeah,
But do you have any tips for like anyone, especially youth or adolescents?
absolutely. I would say, so my message to the youth, and to honestly anyone, but especially the youth, because they're so susceptible to what they see in the media and things like that. And the honest truth is, look to someone um, who is a good example. It may not be cool, it may not be fun, but the hard, fast life doesn't lead anywhere good. And the reason why people fall victim to the hard, fast life is because of traumas that they've gone through, and they just want to numb themselves, whether it be through substances or engaging in certain lifestyles. It's not fruitful for you. Just remember, one day you're going to look back and wish I didn't engage in those things because it's ruined my life. My message to you is, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, and things like that, definitely seek help. Talk to somebody you trust. Love yourself, and have that confidence that you are amazing, you are great, and if there's something out there that you want to pursue that you're passionate about, take that leap of faith and go for it, because you'll be surprised at what you can do once you put your mind to it. Um, and just remember, God loves you. Have faith, and yeah, I believe that's the message I have for now. As I said, I'm still on this journey
All
of
right.
healing. So, but
Gotcha,
yeah,
man. So y'all hear first from Supreme Master J, y'all. Believe in yourself. Do not give up. And speak to somebody if you need that help. If you need the extra support, it's there for you. You just got to make sure that you can find that support, and it's there for you guys. Other than that, guys, the links will be in the description. Y'all go ahead and make sure to follow Supreme Master J, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff will be linked below. Y'all have an amazing day. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning into the Atypical podcast, and we will see you on the next one. Jay,
nice.
thank you so much for having me, being on the show, man. We'll catch you on the next one, man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Absolutely, man.